So we've been asked here to tally some data and draw some different graphs. So members of a focus group were given 5 alternatives and asked which word best described their feelings towards an advertisement that they were shown. Here are the different results here. So L is for lackluster. We're going to tally the data down here. A is appealing, and off-putting, and exciting, and appealing, lackluster. So piece by piece, when you're doing tallying, is always the best way to go. Lackluster, off-putting, lackluster, appealing, off-putting, appealing. Once you get 4, you make a little bundle of 5. Exciting, lackluster, appealing. It's engaging, isn't it? Okay, so what have we got for our totals? 3 off-puttings, 5 lacklusters, 6 appealings, 3 engagings, and an exciting. Check that your total matches the total that were involved. Now there were 18 people in the focus group and we've got 8, 10, 18 people here, so we've done a pretty good job with our tallying, I guess. Some questions here. Tally the data, we've done that. What was the frequency of the reaction engaging? There were 3 people. The frequency equaled 3. 3 people thought it was engaging. I'll fit this in here. What was the relative frequency of engaging? Now what the relative frequency means, it just as expressed as a fraction out of the total number. There were 3 people that thought it was engaging out of 18 people on the panel. What percentage of the people thought it was engaging? Well, you just have to convert your fraction into a percentage. 3 out of 18 equals what percentage? You write as a fraction, you times it by 100, and that will give you a percentage. We can do it on the calculator. 3 out of 18, 3 divided by 18. If you do an equals there, that will give you the answer as a decimal, but we want it as a percentage. Change the decimal to a percent, you times it by 100%, and that'll give you 16.666, probably round it to 2 decimal places, 16.67%. And now we have to draw some graphs. And the first one is a sector graph. Now, to draw a sector graph, the way to go about it is to write each of these frequencies as a fraction. In other words, write their relative frequency down. So I'll do a bit of working out here. We've got off-putting. That was 3 out of 18. Lackluster was 5 out of 18. Appealing, 6 out of 18. Running out of space, aren't I? Engaging was 3 out of 18. And exciting, 1 out of 18. Now, I've got to change all those into the number of degrees for the circle. So that's 3/18ths of a circle. 3/18ths of 360 degrees. So I'm going to times them all by 360. So I'll just do the first one. 3/18ths of 360. 3 divided by 18 times 360 equals 60 degrees. Okay, now I'm going to do the calculations. You might like to do them yourself, and we'll come back and draw the graph in a second. Just pause the tape. Once you've done your calculations, it's always a good idea to check that they all add up to 360 degrees. They do. And so now we can draw our graph. Start by putting a line anywhere you like from the centre to the side. My first angle is 60 degrees. Centre of the protractor on the centre and the 0 line on the line that we've just drawn. Measure round to 60 degrees, put a dot, and then connect that out towards that dot. Stop at the edge of the circle. That's just 60 degrees for off-putting. Next was 100 degrees. So I start on the line that I've just drawn. I put the centre of the protractor on the centre of the circle, and the 0 line out to on the line that we just drew, and I want 100 degrees. Put a little dot on the 100 degrees, and we're going to mark into the centre of the circle again for lackluster. $120 degrees, so centre in the centre, and the 0 line out here, and we'll measure around to 120, put a dot out there, and we're going to connect from the dot to the centre of the circle. I'll start at the edge of the circle. $60 degrees for engaging, centre on the centre, mark around to 60 degrees. And the last bit, exciting, should be 20 degrees. Well, we can check that by putting this here on the centre, and I think you can see from 0 around there is 20 degrees. Exciting. Okay, now we have to do some other types of graphs. There's a dot plot. Dot plot is actually best done, I think, going back to the original data we had right at the top there and doing it as we go. You can do it later though. Off-putting was 3, so we've got 3 dots in a row here. Lackluster, 5. Appealing, 6. Engaging, 3. And exciting, 1. So that would be our dot plot. A vertical bar chart, and so we're just going to get these titles again here. It's probably a good idea to have an axis here. And I'll just make each square equal to 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, that goes up to. These are called the frequencies. So there were 3 people that thought it was off-putting. I'll just draw a little column. Might be a good idea if I put this axis in here. There were 5 people that thought it was lackluster. There were 6 people that thought it was appealing. Three people thought it was engaging. and one person that thought it was exciting. And so we've got our graph there. It might look better with a bit of colour. I'll add that in a second. We've got to do the horizontal one, which is very similar sort of thing. Graph turned on its side, so we're going to put the frequencies along here. And we'll go using the same scale. Two, 4, 6, 8. And so off-putting, there was 3. That'll go out to here. Okay, I'm going to just pause now and let you finish. You can compare yours with mine in just a second. And there we are, now finished. Adding a little bit of colour to your final graph isn't a bad idea. It makes them a little bit, adds to the neatness, I think, and it adds to their readability too.